I lingered at the edge of the reception hall, glass in hand, watching her glide through the crowd as if nothing had ever happened. She laughed freely, touched arms, and played the role of the charming cousin of the bride. And when she finally reached me, her husband of 10 years, she smiled, leaned in, and introduced me with words that still echo in my chest. "This is just a friend." A friend. That single word cut sharper than any blade. I didn't flinch, didn't blink. I only smiled, because I had been waiting for this exact moment. She assumed I came to support family, that I'd stand in the shadows like a dutiful ghost. But she had no clue about the stage I had prepared, the trap already sprung. We first crossed paths 12 years ago. I was young, naive, and foolish enough to believe in love without hesitation. She was fire, ambition draped in beauty and charm. She told me she craved stability, someone to lean on. And I believed her. I gave her everything, a home, devotion, years of my life, and pieces of myself I never handed to anyone else. In return, she gave me whispers of another man. The signs crept in slowly. Late nights covered with thin excuses. Laughter on the phone that turned to silence when I entered the room. A fragrance on her skin I didn't wear. But truth doesn't arrive screaming, it arrives in whispers. And when those whispers reached me, I listened. I observed. I documented. Every work dinner. Every hotel receipt tucked away in her bag. Every message she thought she deleted but lingered in the cloud. I kept them all. By the time her lies collapsed under the weight of undeniable evidence, I wasn't angry anymore. Anger burns fast. What remained was cold calculation. The divorce unfolded quietly. Papers signed, accounts divided, names erased from documents. On the surface, it looked clean, civil. But I never begged, never pleaded. That silence unsettled her more than rage ever could. Because what she didn't know was that I had already moved the chessboard before she even touched a piece. While she was busy lying, I was shifting assets into my name. While she played her game, I perfected mine, leaving her with nothing but scraps. She believed she walked away for love. In truth, she walked away with nothing worth keeping. And then came tonight, her cousin's wedding. A gathering where she wanted to parade herself as the polished woman who had moved on. She invited me, certain I'd decline. But I came, dressed sharp, calm, carrying nothing but a glass of champagne and the truth. When she called me her friend, I nearly laughed. But I held it back. Timing is everything. Later, when the music softened and conversations thinned, I saw my moment. A circle of family gathered around us, her mother at her side. I placed a hand gently on her shoulder and spoke evenly. I should introduce myself properly. Faces turned. Her mother leaned closer. The room fell still. I'm her ex-husband. My words were quiet, but the silence that followed made them thunder. Her face drained of color. Her mother's glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. And then came the sentence that split the night in half. "You mean it's true?" her mother whispered, eyes locked on her daughter. "All those rumors, all the calls I defended you through, you lied to me." Her mother didn't look at me, didn't ask me a thing. Her fury was aimed squarely at her own daughter. "You told me he left you. You told me he destroyed everything. And all this time, it was you." The crowd was no longer quiet. Gasps, murmurs, heads turning like spectators at a public trial. She tried to form words, to steady her voice, but her mother slammed her hand against the table hard enough to rattle glasses. "You shamed me," her mother spat. "In front of everyone. You dragged me into your lies. And you still had the nerve to bring him here and pretend." Her knees gave way. For the first time, I saw her small, not fiery, not clever, just cornered. I didn't add a word. I didn't have to. My silence pressed harder than any accusation. The truth wasn't mine to shout. It was hers to carry. So I set my glass down, buttoned my jacket, and walked out through a sea of eyes that no longer followed me. They followed her. Outside, the night air was cold, sharp, cleansing. I breathed deep, steady. From inside, muffled shouting bled through the walls, her mother's fury rising above the music. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I only let the closure sink in, like ash settling after a fire. Because revenge isn't about rage or spectacle. It's about precision, patience, and letting the truth do the cutting. Tonight, it finally did. I walked away alone, but not empty. Never empty. Because in the end, she wasn't the one I lost. She was the one who lost me.